Hey, witches!
Hi, hello, and welcome back. Okay.
It's time for another episode. Do, do, do,
um,
do.
so I don't know why we never thought about this before, but of course we always wait to the last minute to decide on this, and here we are. We're doing zodiacs.
Yeah, we
Um,
are.
so I know some zodiacs start off with I don't know what it is, but Aquarius is always at the end. And I'm so used to the calendar, like January all the way to December. I feel like
So, no, that wouldn't work either. I was gonna say, is it like because of the wheel of the year? But no, that doesn't work either.
no. Yeah, so I'm like, how does this work? And I don't know. And I was like, maybe Sagittarius is first. Sagittarius is definitely not first. But so here we are. So let's talk about the zodiac, what they are, all of that. I mean, everybody has their own zodiac when they're born, the stars aligned, and this is your zodiac. This is what who and what you are, kind of thing. Um, and so the zodiac in terms of like astronomy is a belt-shaped
Astrology.
region. Well, hold on.
Oh, never
Astronomy,
mind.
we're talking about the
Okay.
stars. Yeah, we're talking about the
Okay.
stars. It's a belt-shaped region of the sky that extends approximately 8 degrees north and 8 degrees south um, of the elliptic, like apparent path of the sun, basically. So over the course of the year, Earth goes into these different areas of this orbit and of constellations, essentially. And whoever is born within that specific area is going to be born under that zodiac, which means we have our zodiacs. So this actually goes back way back in time. Uh, and now it's now more considered astrology nowadays. Astrology used to be astronomy. It used to be the study of stars, the study of movement of the stars, the study of charts and your birth chart. It was kind of all into one. But now it's very separate. One is the study of space, stars, the beings and bodies of whatever out in space. Astrology has been reduced to specifically just the zodiacs. And there are 12 zodiacs. They have the zodiac actually comes from a Latinized form of the ancient Greek word, meaning cycle or cycle of little animals, because the zodiac have are based after animals. So we have 12 of them. We have let's just start off with January, um, with Capricorn. We have then going into Aquarius to Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So obviously, this episode is going to be about Sagittarius, just kind of giving a little background on the history of it, though. So even as early as 14th century BC, um, 36 Egyptian deacons were placed among the hieroglyphs adorning the tomb of a figure, and they characterize the astronomical monument of the Egyptian times. So even long before Western astrology happened, the ancient Egyptians were utilizing the stars and its movements and charting them and like basing your personality and how you react to things and who you are as a person. It's based on like this study. So many people think it's just bullshit because it's like whatever, like it's the stars, who cares kind of thing. But it has a very very long beginning. Some people are like, oh, that's just a hippie thing of saying it, but it actually has a really long history. Like it's been around for thousands of years. um and it also it's I'm when I look at the chart, I don't understand the chart to the fullest, so maybe that's some more research I have to do. But like the 30-degree thing, I don't understand. So do with it what you will. But yeah, so they have all kinds of signs like, throughout everything, and we're gonna start off with Sagittarius. Um, so Sagittarius is actually The ninth house, it is not the first. Apparently, the first is Aries, but we are not in Aries season. We are in Sagittarius, so we're going to go with that. So it's the ninth house. It is essentially an archer. It is normally defined as a centaur, uh, but it had like the symbol of it is essentially like an arrow with like two like arrow based lines through it. Um, so yeah, uh, sorry, I am not the meticulous researcher. I jump around. Because even if I
Hi,
am
girl.
even if I am the meticulous researcher, it's not going to work for me because then I'll just forget what I said and I'm like, "Oh, there was a cool fact I wanted to say, but I didn't write it here." So, I do these on the fly. Anyways, so a little bit about Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius is Latin for archer. It is associated with the constellation Sagittarius, and it spans the 240th and 270th degrees of the zodiac. It's under the tropical zodiac, so the sun transits this sign between approximately November 22nd and December 21st. So Greek mythology associates Sagittarius with the centaur Chiron, who mentored Achilles, a Greek hero of the Trojan War, specifically in archery. So he is depicted as half human and half horse. He has a higher intelligence that forms a bridge between earth and heaven. He was also a learned healer. He was known as the archer, so that is why he is represented by a bow and arrow. Um, where is it? I found so many cool things. Like I don't know. There's just so many things I wanted to talk about. Definitely not here. My internet's going out. Okay. So it is represented by the element fire. So each zodiac is a part of an element. So there's three elements within each one. And so the Sagittarius is fire. They each one has a thing that's like modality, and it's whether or not I don't really understand the modality thing of it, but it's basically like, are you a fixed transient kind of person? Or are you like cool with like go with the flow kind of stuff? Um, so we're gonna figure that out today. So mutable signs, I think that's how you pronounce it, modalities or whatever. Um, the mutable modality is attached to the signs Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Um, they know how to go with the flow, so they're not fixed. They're adaptable and flexible and can change their form of expression to whatever a situation requires. Um, Standing their ground is of little importance to these people because of how go with the flow they are. They would just, I don't want to say that they're not like what are they called? They're like people who believe in something and they're fighting for it. Something warriors or whatever. I don't There's a term for it and I can't figure it out. But they some astrologists or astrologers, I should say, believe that they don't stand their ground as much because of how go with the flow they are. Not that they back down, but they definitely don't, I guess, attempt. But anyways, so as as I was saying, they have a ruling planet, and their ruling planet is Jupiter. So some believe that Sagittarius have traits like no indoor voice. They form their opinions off of pure emotion. Whether there's basis behind that is to be determined. But most of the time, you're going to find a Sagittarius that is very, very opinionated based on their emotions. Um, they are always obsessed with self improvement, trying to do better. They wield their truth like a blunt weapon. They are also known as the friendliest person. Here's some famous Sagittarians: Nicki Minaj, Jane Austen. I'm going to butcher
Ooh,
this name. John Michael Basquiat. Basquiat? I don't know. Nostradamus. I don't know who that is. Emily Dickinson, Britney Spears, Diego Rivera, and Frederick Ingalls.
lots of
Um,
artists,
yeah. So actually,
like
this,
and writers.
yeah. So a lot of this information, not a lot of this information, but some of this information that I'm finding, specifically the famous Sagittarians and their like their traits, comes from the CoStar Astrology.com. They actually have an app, and I really like the app. I've used the app for a few years, and I really enjoy it. Um, so it says that the best careers for Sagittarians are foreign correspondent, probably because they're known as the friendliest one, so they would probably be better at that. The health fad guru, karaoke MC, a club kid, and an unauthorized anthropologist.
So a
Whatever.
grave robber.
Right? That's so funny. So they often question who they are. They move from job to job, philosophy to philosophy, trying to find themselves. And while trying to find themselves along the way, um, they are essentially the explorers of the zodiacs. They not necessarily like adventures, but they want to know a lot of things. They want to explore those options out there, kind of thing. Um, like explore the unknown. At their core, they want to understand how the world works. Very difficult, Sagittarians. Very difficult. Um, Apparently they have weaknesses. They are a warrior and a poet. So they hold a firearm in one hand and a book in the other. Um, so they have a relentless drive for freedom, but they also like are very worldly signs. So that kind of brings in like a nice little poet thing there. Um, and apparently they have great strength to kind of help them go over, like get over certain and specific challenges. Um, and apparently they can be very overly aspirational. So that's why they're so special. They want to believe so intensely that they can transcend certain limitations of their own reality that it's hard for them to accept the life's simple joys. Like, so they're always trying to find like that better option. Now, here's the thing. You might notice too, as Sagittarians, this is their sun sign. So if you have Sagittarius in your like astrological chart, you might notice in specific areas of your life, you might have some of these traits. So research that. Um, but yeah, and if you're ever curious about like why they're single, how they find attractive, or who they find attractive, do they fall in love quickly, how to seduce one, Co-Star's got you, man. Got you. It's a little weird, but that's fine. Whatever. Anyways, let's talk about the elements. I'm going to go back to the elements. I'm going to get a drink first before I do that. Um, so their element is fire. It's the lightest, brightest element. And people actually thought that um, this was akin to the divine light to the stars and the vital life as it is, because fire gives off rays similar to the sun. So they have an affinity for enthusiasm, truth seeking, authenticity, and at times brutal honesty. And that is all because it's within the fire element. Um, they have a lot of stuff in here too about like talking about Jupiter and like the planetary rulership. I really don't know how that connects to the zodiac, whether that has everything to do with their chart and like at the degree that they're located in. I don't know. And I'm not going to say I know because I didn't research that. Sorry.
Oh,
Honestly, I forgot not plants, planets kind of ruled with the zodiac. Mine's Uranus. Fun fact. Not that we're talking about
interesting.
Aquarius, but anyways, let's see here. What haven't we talked about yet? Um, so you know how some people think that like astrology have cusps? Like I was born on the cusp of this or I was born on the
Oh,
cusp
yeah.
of that. So I don't know if I'm truly this or this. Well, actually, there was an astrologer that came up and talked about this. So an astrologer actually explains what it means to be like, are you born on a cusp? So, and if you were born in terms of this, I'm just going to use, Sagittarius and Capricorn because that's like kind of where we're going. If you're born between December 18th and the 24th, apparently that's your cusp. So you don't know if you're truly one or the other. Um, this, most astrologers will say that cusps are actually impossible. So, for example, it really just comes down to degrees. So, planets are stationed between 0 and 29 degrees in somebody's natal chart. The sun moves forward in a sign 1 degree each day before they go into a new sign. So each day they are transitioning closer and closer to that next one. Now there is not any specific location where it's like I'm here and over the next 3 days more of that like Capricorn energy is going to be coming in. That's not the case. That's complete and utter bullshit. You go from 0 to 29 and on that 30 it restarts at 0. So if you are born in a season of this to this, you are that sign. So like if you were born on a cusp, most astrologers will say that's incorrect. That's false. I was definitely
However,
not.
like, that's true. I mean, that's correct. But
Yeah.
also, like, as time passes, it does shift.
Hmm.
So, like, I'm a Taurus shift Gemini.
That makes sense.
So, like, you would shift into the
Maybe we'll
next
talk about
zodiac.
shifts.
Probably not
I
for a
don't know.
while. We're gonna get through the whole zodiac first, probably. But
Before we talk about
um,
specifics, yeah.
I actually like went to a real like to a professional
Astrologer.
astrologer, and she said that I am shift Gemini, which is super interesting because harkening back to the shadow work episode, or I don't know if this one comes out first or if the shadow work comes out first, but either way,
Shadow work.
listening to the shadow work episode, I tend to dislike a lot of the traits of Gemini. Um, like the stereotypical traits or like the prominent common traits that you think of when you think of Gemini. But I am shift Gemini, so like technically now I I am Gemini. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, so basically the astrologers say like instead of looking at like the typical days, always look at the degrees. The degrees of like a specific zodiac in your chart is going to describe you how like whatever you are. Because of that same thing, like days change and all of that. But the closer you get to 29 degrees, which is the end of the sign, it's the further away you are from the pure essence of its energy. So there are differences in the energy expression within the sign, but the first degree of the sign embodies the newness, the most authentic version of itself, basically. So if you ever wondered about your cusps, just look at their degrees. You're not born on a cusp. You were.
And like if you're interested in this and you haven't looked into it before, like you need to know the location you were born, like the city, and you need to know the exact time you were born.
Mhm.
Because it changes. Like the night sky changes and our position related to the planets changes every minute. So
Yeah. Always be looking. You never know. Um, Cardinal. That's the other modality. I was like, there's another modality somewhere. Fixed and mutable and cardinal. Anyways, so once I get my internet working again, you know. So let's talk about some compatibility. So Sagittarius again are fire signs. So here's the thing. There's always that thing where it's like opposites attract. But then there's other people say opposites don't attract. It's literally similar things. So I'm not an astrologist. I would love to be an astrologist. I don't know how you go about doing that. Somebody knows, hit me up. I want to know. But
I would love it as well. Sounds
oh,
super fun.
yeah. As a kid, there I love the stars. As a kid, I always wanted to be an astronomer. Listen, I went through different phases of what I wanted to do, but astrology was always my thing. As a kid, I would have my parents or my grandparents like wherever I could find the newspaper, whoever had the newspaper, I would find it just so I could read my horoscope of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thing. I loved it. And then I actually watched an anime growing up called Beyblade. And in the second episode, there's a female character and she's like obsessed with, not obsessed, I don't want to say obsessed because like I was so obsessed with this I would read like fan fiction growing up. So some of my brain could not be like thinking correctly of what really truly happened in the anime. Just take that with a grain of salt. But I think there was like an episode where she's like, I got this astrology book and like she's talking about it and like reading all about it. And I was like, yes, yes, that's my girl. That's it. So I've always been obsessed with astrology. I think it'd be great. But anyways, um, so Sagittarians will typically find great affinity in other fire signs, such as themselves. They understand each other's impulsivity, their spontaneous nature. Um, Aries is a good thing for them. They can handle the archer's heat and honesty, um, and is super independent of each other. So like they can go do their own thing, but then they can come together and enjoy each other's company and then be done and gone with. Um, let's see. They will be active and have a lively life together. Sagittarius with Leo is another option. They can be a very creative, inspiring duo. Uh, Leo may need a little more intention and assurance than what Sagittarius is like used to. Like they're very free spirited, they're very independent. They don't need that. So there might be a little bit of friction there. Work on your communication. Um, and Sagittarius with Sagittarius is also a great match. Um, Air signs, such as moi. Uh, it energy with Sagittarius is very complementary. Obviously, it depends per sign, but air feeds the fire. So, having an air sign can bring that extra curiosity and extra intelligence to the inspired, adventurous world of the Sagittarius. So that would be a kind of a good one. Gemini are known to be very playful and curious. So having that playful curiosity with the adventurous world of Sagittarius can also be really, really good. However, them water signs, they will have the biggest challenge when relating to the sign. They might bring that like emotional intelligence to help cool and counterbalance Sagittarius's bold and wandering tendencies. Um, but you might dim it a little bit. I'm not saying like they're not a bad match, but like be careful. Um, so apparently Cancer is very good at caring for the Sagittarius. But Cancer may prefer to stay home. So Cancers are known to be more homebodies. Sagittarians want to go out and about. Pisces could share some spiritual and philosophical affinities with them, but they're both ruled by Jupiter. So could be too sensitive and private to fully appreciate Sagittarius's brutal honesty. So they ain't gonna let nothing let them go. Scorpio apparently can have some great sexual relationships,
Okay.
but Scorpio can get very jealous. Um, so I'd stay away. Because Sagittarius prefers to live in the moment.
That's not for
Uh,
me.
Earth signs can stabilize Sagittarius's nature. Um, so anything that can stand their ground in the face of I guess the adventurous side of Sagittarius would be good for them. Um, However, Taurus,
Hey, girl.
although dependable and loving, may be a bit too
Don't have time for
stubborn.
that ish.
Maybe a bit too stubborn and rooted to roll with the ever changing plans.
Yeah. I don't got time for that ish.
And Virgo may be too focused on doing things perfectly instead of just enjoying the ride for itself. Um oh, that's a fun fact I didn't know about. Apparently in classical astrological medicine, the entire zodiac was mapped out on the human body. So Sagittarius rules over the hips and thighs and internally the liver. So those with Sagittarius may have stronger legs, but need to protect themselves from strain or overuse of thigh muscles, bones, and the hip flexors.
Hmm.
Apparently, the liver is a very Jupiter type organ, being large and expansive, and ever regenerating. Depends. Got to stay healthy for it to do that, though. Um,
Right. You can't be an alcoholic and expect it to
yeah,
regenerate. It's not going to
yeah.
happen.
So it's important to have that liver care um, into the diet of like that person or whatever, as to not be too overburdened or become toxic. Um, they do need to keep their diets and exercise in balance with their love and celebrating life with good food and drink. So be good about that. Um, and apparently, good hydration, fruits and veggies, as with all pretty much almost all bodies, work for you. Um, if you're looking for some herbal allies in your life, dandelion root is prime herbal ally for Sagittarius. Lemon balm, um, and yellow dock. I don't know exactly what yellow dock is, but you can eat it in salads and carry much of the same minerals and vitamins as spinach. So I don't know what it
Hmm.
tastes like, whatever it is. Um, Apparently, it's good for the liver too. Um, so some of these things were actually used in um, by classical physicians to like purge melancholy
Hmm.
and like dryness on the body and coldness on the body that leads to like depression and stiffness and all of that. So those three things might help those depressive type days. Um so three deacons or decans or whatever it is of Sagittarius. So I guess think of it like the 360 is the entire zodiac wheel. And each of the 12 signs represents 30-degree slices. Um so I guess you can fine tune like where you're at in your like natal chart with decans or something like that. So like the first 10, second, and third. So the first one is ruled by Mercury. Please don't switch my app. Thank you. The second one is ruled by the moon, which makes no sense. How are we ruling by planets? It's a planet. I'm not saying it's not. But how are we ruling based off the solar system planets when each one of these have their own thing? I don't know. I don't understand
It
this.
changes based on like the time as well. Like the time and location also changes that.
Okay.
Um, but like in astrology, where the house where the planets are in relation to each other and in relation to like the houses um is important. It's really fucking confusing if you don't have someone to like sitting there explaining it to you that is like an expert. Um
I really want to get like my natal chart read or whatever.
mhm.
Um so then I can compare it to like some of the apps that I've used and see how
So
like
I
true.
have had mine read, and I got the birth date. Where the fuck is it? It's over there because I rearranged my office. The birth date book that's like down to the minute, and I haven't had a chance to really look into it, but I want to compare the two and see how accurate that book is.
Honestly, you should download CoStar and do that
Okay.
because they actually have like your own like it does your chart for you.
Oh, cool. I have a copy of my chart too, but that's awesome. Then I'd have one on
Yeah,
my
so
phone.
that way I can that
Co-star.
way I know if it's if it's accurate or not. um I guess too it's like the whole point of this is it can be used for like magical rituals when seeking to evoke or harness Jupiter's planetary power, I guess. The third one is Saturn. So from 20 to 29 of Saturn or Sagittarius, it's ruled by Saturn. So duty, determinization. What a word that I just fucking made up.
I was gonna let you go,
Thanks.
but
I appreciate your confidence in me because I
I
didn't have
mean,
any.
I knew that wasn't
Woo!
correct, but I was just gonna let it slide.
I was like looking at the next word and I was like, what did I just say? Determination and perseverance. Whew. Anyways, God, that was rough. Um, oh my gosh, and it goes into tarot cards. What? That's amazing. That's a lot more brain work that I have that I can fucking do right now. I can't do that. Anyways, so yeah, Sagittarius, all that good stuff. Fun loving, adventurous, no cusp. You might have some transitioning energy in there somewhere, but no cusps, according to most, if not all, astrology experts. But any other than that, that's Sagittarius. That's the start of our Zodiac series.
I like it.
The ninth house. We're gonna do it backwards. The ninth house. I'm so excited to do
Fun.
Aquarius. It's gonna be so fun.
Yes.
Question
But
is it gonna
next is
next?
Capricorn,
Yeah.
which Brittany is a Capricorn, so I'm gonna research that one and tell you all about my love.
My mom was a Capricorn.
I love that.
There's a fucking fuzz in my like going up through my.
I saw that.
Maybe that's what's stealing my bike and knocking my stuff over and breaking my phone and breaking my.
Could be because wasn't there a wisp in your thing last time we were recording?
Yeah. I literally fucking dusted. Like, there's nothing in here.
I feel that you offended the wisp.
What are the wisps? I probably said something I shouldn't have. I don't know.
And funny story, not really funny story. I don't know why I said it like that. But thinking about compatibility, there's something I'm going to research for the next astrology episode. Um, because Taurus and Capricorn are very compatible in themselves, but I'm also Capricorn ascending, and I wonder if that makes us even more compatible because I have some Capricorn traits.
Yo, you know what? We should just get our, like, I should just get my chart read and then just, like, talk about it.
We totally can. I already have mine, and I took extensive notes. Like, I wrote down almost everything that she said. I can send you her information, actually. She might
Heck yeah.
do like a virtual one.
I'd be down for that. Um, what is it? According to CoStar, whether this is true or not, again, I don't know. I just downloaded it and hope for the best. So, like, you can do it like a table like this,
Mm-hmm.
or you can do it like a circle, which I think most people do it like this, like the circle
The
based. And I
circle.
have no idea how to do that. But it says Venus is Aries. And I think that's funny because Venus is determined how and what you love. And Will's an Aries. It was meant to be, babe. Anyways, yeah, so that's Sagittarius. Next time we'll talk about Capricorn.
Yay.
So if you know any other famous Sagittarians, let us know in the comments.
Or if you're a Sagittarius, tell us how right we were. Don't tell us if we're wrong.
Because you know what? We probably are, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not an expert in astrology, but I would love to be. Do I have
I
time and
would
the
love to
effort
be
and the
too.
money for that? No. Not in this economy.
Let's just
Maybe
like
next
quit
life.
enjoying the circus. We'll read tarot cards and read astrological charts at the fair.
Okay, listen, the amount of tarot people and astrology people at the Ren Fair, out of this world.
Right? And like the city that I live in has so many like festivals and farmers markets
Where
and
were all of those people when I lived there?
no, that's what I'm saying. So how awesome would it be to be an astrologer or a tarot reader and go to all of those
Right?
like
That'd be so fun.
festivals and shit and just have
Also,
that be your job.
right? So if you are a professional astrologer, I'm in business. So, okay. Anyways, until next time.
Bye.